Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. We are standing beside our brand new Kioti CS2520S. We ended up going with the loader, mid-mount mower, and backhoe on this as a whole package. And today we're going to try it out for the first time. We actually just got back from the dealership and we unloaded it. So I've got to learn a few things. So I'm going to kind of learn this together because I've not tried to do any of the functions that I'm getting ready to do on this tractor. So I'm going to remove the front loader and the backhoe and I'm going to mow some grass with it. So before I get real in depth into just mowing with the tractor, I do want to take it over and, just try out the backhoe and just kind of get a little bit of a feel for it. I'm only going to spend a few minutes doing that today because I'm not really ready to tackle the projects that I have with the backhoe, but I do kind of want to try it out. And I used it at the dealership and just kind of mess with it and the functions, but I really want to put it in some dirt and dig with it and maybe try to pull on a tree root or two and just kind of see how the power and everything feels on it. So I'm not gonna lie, remember when you was a kid and you had those playground toys that you sit on the seat and you had these backhoe things and you could dig in the sand? It's kind of what I feel like right now. And I'm 41 years old and I feel like a kid right now. But I can see that the comparable difference to the tractors I've tried before. And if y'all been following along with the channel, you've been watching the videos I've had on some Kubota, and then Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead also has, we've done some videos together, and I got to try out his backhoe on his tractor. Just the seat of the pants feeling right now, this backhoe doesn't really feel any more powerful, but it doesn't feel any less powerful either. So I definitely am glad of that because I didn't want to be feeling like I was used to his and then the backhoe feel like super weak and then I'd be dissatisfied with it. So if you're digging dirt, it has no problem digging dirt. And of course, these roots on this tree, this is actually the tree that we could not dig out, or one of the same kinds of trees that we could not dig out with the Kubota. So I didn't expect much with this because the roots on this tree are humongous. They're not little tiny roots. I actually was going to work on a different tree that the roots are more on top of the ground, and I actually just couldn't get to it right now because I've got a bunch of tree limbs and stuff laying around it. So that's going to have to be on another video. And you keep seeing me look off to the side. I keep seeing out the corner of my eye, I got a little turtle running across the ground. So evidently I kind of stirred him up a little bit while I was digging here in the ground. I'm glad I didn't hit him because I hate hitting stuff like that. But anyways, back to the tractor. I'm gonna go take the backhoe off of this, and I'm gonna go take the front loader off, and I'm gonna mow a little bit with it because I'm super excited about my new mowing machine to replace the zero turn, but multifunctional machine. And it's clouding up, and I'm thinking it might rain here pretty soon, and I want to try to get as much mowed as I possibly can today. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop playing around and actually put this thing to work. So I'm gonna see if I can remember how to pull this thing off here. It shouldn't be too hard. So what I've done there is actually push the backhoe down and lift it up, and that's supposed to take the weight off the pins. I was having to finagle it just a little bit, but you can see the pin right here. I pulled it out of that. You see the tension come off the pin. So now we can lower our boom down and tilt this forward. So you can see where we're at there. Now I'm going to drop the feet down. And it lifts us right out. Now you might not have to stretch this out as far as I did here, but I just set the bucket down flush and flat on the ground, and then that way, you know, my feet are sitting down, and now all the weight is actually sitting right on the backhoe itself. So I'm gonna pull the tractor up just a little bit, and then I'm going to unhook the hoses, and we'll be unhooked from it. So I'm gonna shut the tractor off. I'm gonna work the loader valve in all directions and let everything sit flat on the ground. And that should release all the tension or all the pressure off of our lines. So these lines are pretty warm, so I am going to wear a pair of gloves on here. We're going to put our caps on. So we've got our 3 lines unhooked from the tractor, and then we've just got the one that we need to plug right back into the tractor. And that's got it right there. I believe we're ready to pull out. So guys, again, this is just the first time me doing this, and I'm trying to look at stuff and just figure it out as I go. I've seen some stuff, like some dealers posted some videos about, you know, how to do this, but never done it myself. And I'll have to say that so far it's pretty much as easy as they show. I believe once a person would get used to doing this, you could take that backhoe off in probably 2 minutes or less. It probably took me 5 minutes or something just to, you know, kind of working with it and figuring out exactly what I needed to do and making sure I had things disconnected and, you know, all that I needed to. So let's go ahead and pull this loader off. Come on, son. All right, so I might be sitting on something here, got me off a little bit of an angle. That latch was just a little bit tough to pull, but I actually kind of kicked it with my foot just a little bit and it just popped right loose. So I wonder if this being on a little bit of a, you know, if it's a little bit off situated where this is going to be hard to put back on sitting right here, but I don't think it will be. And we shut the tractor off, and now all I got to do is unhook the hydraulic lines, and we're ready to go. You can see I used the tractor to actually just lift it right off of the front end of it. So we should be good to go to disconnect, but we do want to go ahead and let all the pressure off our hydraulics on this too. So I'm going to move the loader stick in all directions. So these are the latches I was talking about. You just pull that up and it slides in this slot right here to disengage the front loader. So there's our lines. We're just going to let them hang right there. We're going to make sure we put our caps on our hydraulics. So we should be ready to back away from it, and we'll just have the tractor now. And that's all there is to it. That's pretty simple. Now we've got just a large lawnmower pretty much that can still pull an implement behind it. You can still put a brush hog or a tiller or something like that. And you can do that with or without the front loader. We also do have our 3-point arms. So, you know, it's made for that. And that's one thing too, that this Kioti did come with the 3-point arms. Some tractors, you have to buy those extra. So let's run to the pasture and let's mow some grass. Let's see how this thing does. So first impressions of running this as a mower, I'm liking it really well. It is slower than a zero turn as far as all out speed and just flipping around at the end of the field. But what a difference it makes whenever you're trying to get over into a tight spot. And like over in this low place in this corner, it is really tough to get the zero turn in there without it sliding down the hill or into the fence. It's just an all-out battle all the time. So with this, you've got all this slope and you can go controlled all the way down to the fence line, make your turn, come back up. It is so much more relaxing to mow with this mower because you kind of just get on it and you drive it, and you know, you can adjust your speed as you're going. You can set cruise control if you're in an area where, you know, the terrain is staying the same. But in these pastures, it's all the time different because there's places where the horses are at, there's places where they're not at that you can go a lot faster on it. But you can just control that speed, and it's a whole lot different bounce. Is this a real smooth riding machine? No, it's not, because it's still small tires and all that, but there's a difference in the way that a zero turn rides and the way that this thing rides. You still get some bounciness and all that, but it's not the same as dropping a caster in a hole and it being a just all-out jerk on your ride. And that's kind of where I was running into with the zero turn, is that it was getting to the point where, I mean, it was just beating me to death in these pastures and stuff. Now, if you've got a manicured lawn, absolutely, the zero turn, if you're just mowing grass, that's the way to go. But I think this Kioti tractor is really going to work out as a all-purpose, all use. You know, we've got the front loader, and you know, I'm sure Tamara's going to get a lot of use out of that, and probably a lot more than she even thinks that she will right now. That may be something that, you know, she doesn't think that she'll get that much use, but I can see all those uses, and I can see every time she turns around, she's thinking, oh, I can save my back. Put a load of horse feed in the bucket on here and shovel out the stalls and put it in the bucket, as opposed to loading up a wheelbarrow and then having to wheel it down. This is like a powered wheelbarrow. There's just so many uses that this small tractor, I think, is going to fulfill. And you know, mowing is one of those. And right now, I don't have the tires filled on this because I just got it in today and I wanted to fill the tires myself and make a video on that. So stay tuned for that, because that will be coming up. But even at that, I haven't been anywhere in sideways places that this thing has felt not stable. And I've been in places where it was really sketchy with the zero turn. So with all that in mind, you know, like I've already been in steep uphill, been pretty steep sideways, and then of course backing into a steep area, and everything just felt solid and secure the entire time. And you never get that on the zero turn. When you get in those places, you're skidding, your front end wants to slide down the hill, and then a lot of times you kind of go in a controlled skid down a hill and sideways at the same time. And it's just not fun having that all the time, because you're fighting it, and you're kind of worried about whether you might actually stop or not stop on that hill. So with this, I'm not getting any of that at all. It is so much more relaxing to mow, and it is so much quieter. I can't believe how quiet this thing is versus that zero turn. So anyways, there's going to be a whole series of videos coming up on this tractor. I will make a playlist down below, and I'll put at the end of this also, and I'll put access to those playlists where you can get to it. This is only going to be the second or third video of this tractor, so keep in mind that those are going to come. There's going to be all kinds of videos, and I will put that playlist down below where you can click on that and watch all the Kioti stuff together in one place. So if you enjoyed today's video, I really appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel and follow along on this new Kioti tractor, and also check out the other 300 videos that are on the channel. I'm going to get back to mowing because I only have a few hours and I want to try to get caught up. So until next time, keep it outdoors, and we'll see you on the next one.